The later the night became, the more intense the storm became. By the following morning, it was evident power was out everywhere within the Hawke's Bay area. But in the surrounding areas over in Taradell here, Napier, Hastings as well, they were out of power for days. It wasn't hard to be motivated to respond to the need. He ata mea nui o te ao. He ata mea nui o tēnei aohiri. Māku I ki atu, e tangata, e tangata, e tangata. And we have that saying, like, what's the most important thing in the world? Tis people, tis people, tis people. And so there was no motivation needed to arise the following day, literally see the need and the devastation that was evident within that second, third, fourth, fifth day and the days that followed. The thing that would motivated me was the love for people. It wasn't just for one specific ethnic group, specific iwi, whatever, it was for everyone. And that was the common thing here that I found. It doesn't matter whether we were Māori or Pākehā in the same building. What really mattered was the need of the people. People, they use the words devastated. And that doesn't clearly portray the devastation that they were feeling. It wasn't just the loss of personal items. It wasn't just the loss of those photos and things that you've stored for years. Though we came across a lot of that in our clean-up efforts. It really was the brokenness of the spirit that these people were feeling. And so it was quite simple for us as volunteers. The relief work was wide and varied and difficult for most days. Not so just for us, but for the families that we had needed to engage with and get their permissions to remove all these articles from their homes. And to see that in the midst of them standing there in tears, we needed no motivation to get up every day and to go and support these families. My involvement with the Whakamana Hawke's Bay pilot came about over a discussion that myself and Andy Winitana were having during one of our work days. We were literally doing what we've been doing for weeks, which was removing silt, household items, rest of it. And we were literally working in knee-deep silt one day, him and I, and again another destroyed home. And he looked at me and said, hey, wouldn't it be great if we had a program that could teach a lot of our young learners about tikanga, about kawa, about manaakitanga, kaitiakitanga, karakia, and just rebuilding some resilience, restoring, revitalising that Mātauranga within his work crews. And so that was our first discussion we had over it, and with myself being involved with Schools Active and Te Mahi Ako. It was obvious to me that we needed to have a more in-depth discussion about what that could possibly look like. And the program itself is about building capability in Te Ao Māori, Mātauranga Māori, covering those key aspects of our learnings in terms of tikanga, kaitiakitanga, the reo, waiata, karakia, some of those main tenets of Te Ao Māori that really help our people to connect with papatūānuku in terms of the whenua, with the manaki or the papatūānuku, the caring of the Mother Earth and so on. And so there was, Andy had a strong intent to want to restore and revitalise that within his workers. And those discussions started from the silt of these displaced homes.
Harataki is a very I don't know the words for it, very strong to me. Like I gravitate to him because you can feel his wairua and feel his connection to the people in the workforce, and it's all very amazing to watch when you are being powered by mana to do meaningful mahi. So I first started discussing what the pilot would look like with Harataki, purely because we were talking about just how hard these young fellas were working and how unfair it was that once it was all cleaned up, they would go back to their everyday lives of sitting on the couch and not doing much, or looking for jobs, or looking for work, or looking for some type of engagement. Our disdain for the sort of how the views of our young folk, of our rangatahi and our younger generation, of how they're just completely useless, really ticked us off, because we could see in that recovery effort just how hard they were working, which was my vision of, wow, what is powering these young fellas, or these fellas, they're going so hard and doing so well. It was help, it was mana, it was help. And again with Harataki we had that discussion, like how do we awaken this inside of them so that they feel like they are worthy enough, that they don't have to wait until there's a huge disaster to actually tap into that and want to go out and do better for them, themselves, their family. So it was an ongoing discussion through the recovery process, after the recovery process, where we both agreed something needed to be changed perspective-wise. Perspective-wise needs to be changed. Perspectives of everyone around in regards to the rangatahi and what they're doing outside. They're useless. They've never had a job. They just stay home and stuff. We will not. I will not. And I knew Harataki would never accept that. We will not accept someone saying they're useless just because they don't have a job, whilst not knowing the story, not knowing the kaupapa, not knowing where they came from and stuff. So we said, okay, well, let's get to know them. Let's identify the paths they want to do on. Let's make sure they're doing what they want to do, not what they have to do to make a living, and create a bit of pathway for them. And that starts with re-engaging with your land.
One of the challenges that we face setting up this course was more around helping our people find their purpose to reclaim their culture back, with the way that colonisation has really impacted our people for many generations. It's made many of us, sometimes even myself, just be like, nah, it's all good. Do we really need to learn that? And then looking at a lot of our life choices and directions and some of the staff and the wider community around where they're going and where they're heading to, that sense of connection to who we are as people and who we are as Māori people really started to shine through. And that's where we realised, like, okay, this is super important. This is something that it not only is that we should be given it, but it's a birthright that we're failing to reclaim or failing to take hold of, because we've downplayed it so much that it's all good. Being brown's enough, but being Māori is enough, and it looks like speaking our language, using it in our everyday conversations, acknowledging it in the places that we go and through the stories that we tell, not only that we're told ourselves, but what we pass on to the following generations.
The pilot meant to me just a way for us to re-engage, retouch, and reaffirm ourselves to our land, in our spirit.
The team from Te Mahi Ako and how they help influence and run this course. Not only did they run it structured and things like that, but what influenced me the most was how they made us feel like it was okay. It didn't matter what level of understanding you had when it came to speaking to reo or knowing the stories of our area and our place that we currently reside in. They just said, that's okay, it's all good, you got this, in your time and your way, you'll get it. And it made us really feel like it was okay to be authentic. It was okay to take our time and really take what was needed bit by bit until it made sense. And the team sat beside us. They really took the time to make sure we understood everything, that we knew what we were speaking about. And they would ask us questions like, okay, what did you get out of that? What was something that stood out for you? And to have the team of Te Mahi Ako be like, it's all good, was really helpful. It allowed all of us to take a break and a breather, just to be like, it's all good if we know nothing, because we're going to come out of it knowing something. And a part of our discussions that we did have as a class was that because of the generational mamae that still sits in many whānau, a lot of us, myself included, felt ashamed to speak Māori, to even say our whakapapa, because we'd sit there and be like, I've never been to my marae, or the last time I went there was when I was a baby, so why should I say I'm from there? And the team would be like, it's all good, you're from there, Maine, that's where I'm from too. So it really empowered us to, just to learn, just to speak, even if it was just to say kia ora. It was really nice that we could, and it was encouraged.
Our Whakamana Hawke's Bay was a response to the need of our individual workers that we're needing and wanting to explore more in depth their own Mātauranga, their own te ao Māori. We were thankful that Andy, along with Tanisha and along with others, we partnered with them to make that happen. And so he provided all the ākonga for the Whakamana Hawke's Bay pilot. With Mahi Ako, obviously skills active at our board, we're very supportive of this initiative. It was great investment put into it by the organisations, so we're very thankful for that. But initially, in terms of the outcomes for Whakamana, is it can't be measured in just quantitative data gathering efforts. You actually see a lot of what's been accomplished back on site. So having completed the Whakamana was all about building resilience, building and restoring their own connection with Mātauranga, and around some of those key aspects and concepts of te ao Māori, around kaitiakitanga, manaakitanga, kawa, tikanga, waiata, karakia. Some of those main key concepts that underpin a lot of our Mahi Ako